General Hospital spoilers, Sept 2 to 6. Jagger's dead. Kristina's suicidal and preemption news. Welcome to my channel General Hospital, where you can get news about. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow, and I and your buddy. Now let's get started. In the latest episode of General Hospital, the city is on edge with Jagger Cates, Adam Harrington, rumored to be dead, and Kristina Davis, Kate Mancy, contemplating suicide. The week kicks off on a somber note with the rerun of a recent episode, and it focuses on Kristina's tragic past. A chilling scene unfolds as Kristina visits a baby's grave with a gun, indicating a plan to end her life. As the week progresses on General Hospital, Harrison Chase, Josh Swickard, investigates a shooting that presumably involves Jagger, triggering Sonny Morris Bernard, strategy to avoid arrest. Rick Hurst, also finds a moment to reconnect with his ex, Elizabeth Weber, Rebecca Herbst. Also, while Willow Tate, Caitlin McMullen, navigates a complicated relationship with Drew Kane, Cameron Matheson. Jason Morgan, Steve Burton, makes a discovery, and Ava Jerome, Maura West, gets a surprise visit from Dr. Isaiah Gannon, Sawandi Wilson, on the ABC Opera. The week rounds out with TJ Ashford, Taj Bello, engaging in a heartfelt conversation with his father-in-law Rick Lansing, and Jocelyn Jacks, Eden McCoy, confronting her mother, Carly Corinthos, Laura Wright. Anna Devane, Finola Hughes, issues a warning, adding to the suspense. The episode ends with Elizabeth Weber expressing doubts and Sonny assigning an important task to Jason. Get all your General Hospital daily spoilers and news here and stay tuned for updates on your favorite characters' fates. The heat of late summer in Port Charles brought with it more than just sweltering temperatures. It brought heartache, shocking revelations, and the ever-present weight of tragedy. For the residents of Port Charles, September 2 to 6 would be a week marked by devastating news, family tensions, and unimaginable loss. Lives would be forever altered as secrets unravel and old wounds are reopened. At the center of it all would be the sudden death of a beloved figure, Jagger Cates, and the downward spiral of Kristina Davis. Struggling with a darkness so deep that those closest to her feared they might not be able to reach her in time. Monday, September 2. Jagger's shocking death stuns Port Charles. It started like any other Monday at General Hospital. Doctors and nurses hustled through the halls, patients received care, and families anxiously awaited news. But everything changed when a phone call shattered the normalcy. Jagger Cates, the rugged, brave ex-police officer who had left town to take on a new life in California, was found dead. The news hit Port Charles like a tidal wave, sweeping through the close-knit community with a force no one could have prepared for. Jagger had been a hero to many. His selfless work with at-risk youth and his commitment to justice were well known, not just in Port Charles but across the country. His brother, Stone Cates, had died of AIDS many years ago, leaving an indelible mark on those who knew him. Jagger had carried Stone's legacy forward, never faltering in his mission to make the world a better place. His death, therefore, felt like an assault on the town's collective heart. At the Corinthos mansion, Sonny received the devastating news from his longtime friend and confidant, Jason Morgan. As Sonny's face fell, the weight of Jagger's death pressed on his chest like an anvil. Memories of the Cates brothers flooded his mind, Stone's tragic demise from AIDS, and now Jagger's sudden and mysterious death. Sonny's heart ached for the loss of another man who had been more like family to him than just a friend. "Sonny, I don't know the details yet," Jason said quietly, his voice strained with emotion, "but I'm going to find out." "We need answers," Sonny replied, his voice gruff as he clenched his fists. No way Jagger's death was just an accident. At General Hospital, Dr. Robin Scorpio was working on rounds when she heard the news. Jagger had been one of the few constants in her life through so much loss, heartbreak, and change. Robin had lost her first love, Stone, all those years ago, and now his older brother was gone too. The grief felt like a cruel déjà vu, a mirror image of the past she had tried to move beyond but never quite could. Carly Corinthos, never one to hide her emotions, was furious at the unfairness of it all. Jagger was supposed to be invincible, she hissed, pacing back and forth in Sonny's office. He was strong, capable. How the hell could this happen? I don't know, Sonny said quietly, his face somber as he poured himself a glass of bourbon. But we're going to find out. We owe it to Jagger, and to Stone. As the day wore on, the news spread throughout Port Charles. People gathered at the docks General Hospital, talking in hushed voices about the man they had lost. Speculation was rampant. Was it an accident, or was there something more sinister at play? For those who had known Jagger best, the unanswered questions only deepened their grief. But one thing was certain, Jagger's death would have far-reaching consequences, not just for the people who loved him, but for all of Port Charles. Tuesday, September 3. Kristina's struggle comes to a head. As the town reeled from Jagger's death, another tragedy was quietly unfolding behind closed doors. Kristina Corinthos Davis, the feisty, independent daughter of Sonny Corinthos and Alexis Davis, had been battling her own demons for months. Her involvement with the Dawn of Day cult had left deep scars, ones she hadn't been able to fully heal from. Despite the support of her family and friends, Kristina had been spiraling deeper into depression, feeling isolated and lost in the wake of everything she had been through. Kristina's mother, Alexis, had noticed the warning signs: the late-night crying, the withdrawal from friends and family, the constant self-doubt. But like so many parents, she had hoped it was just a phase, something Kristina would work through on her own. Now it was becoming painfully clear that Kristina was not getting better. On Tuesday morning, as Alexis prepared to head into work, she received a frantic call from Molly Lansing Davis, Kristina's younger sister. "Mom, you need to come over right now." Molly's voice trembled with fear. "It's Kristina. Something's really wrong." Alexis's heart stopped. She dropped everything and rushed to Kristina's apartment, where she found her daughter sitting on the floor, surrounded by empty bottles of alcohol and torn-up papers. Kristina's eyes were red and swollen from crying, and her skin was pale, almost ghostly. "Kristina, baby, what's going on?" Alexis knelt beside her, her voice soft but filled with worry. Kristina looked up at her mother, her eyes empty, devoid of the usual spark of defiance. "I don't want to be here anymore, Mom. I can't take it. I just want it all to stop." Alexis's blood ran cold. The words she had feared the most had finally been spoken. Kristina was suicidal, and the weight of her pain was crushing her. Alexis pulled her daughter into her arms, tears streaming down her face as she whispered, "We're going to get you help, Kristina. I promise you, we're going to get through this." Meanwhile, Sonny received a call from Alexis, informing him of what had happened. Sonny's heart broke as he listened to Alexis's tearful voice on the other end of the line. His little girl was in trouble, serious trouble, and he had been too distracted by everything else going on to notice. "I'm coming over," Sonny said, his voice firm. "I'll be there in 10 minutes. As Sonny made his way to Kristina's apartment, his mind raced with guilt and fear. He had already lost so much in his life: his brother, his friends, and now Jagger. The thought of losing Kristina was unbearable. But Sonny knew that Kristina's pain was real, and it wasn't something he could fix with money or power. She needed professional help, and she needed it now. By the time Sonny arrived, Kristina was calm but exhausted. Alexis had called Dr. Kevin Collins, a psychiatrist, who agreed to meet with Kristina that afternoon. Together, Sonny and Alexis sat with their daughter, holding her hand, reassuring her that they loved her and would do whatever it took to help her heal. But as Kristina sat between her parents, her mind still felt like a stormy sea, with waves of despair threatening to pull her under at any moment. The road to recovery would be long and difficult, and Kristina wasn't sure if she had the strength to walk it. Wednesday, September 4. The investigation into Jagger's death begins. As Kristina's family focused on getting her the help she needed, another part of Port Charles was embroiled in the mystery of Jagger Cade's death. Jason Morgan, ever the protector of the Corinthos family, had begun to dig into the circumstances surrounding Jagger's untimely demise. Jason met with Curtis Ashford at the Metro Court, the two men leaning over their coffee cups as they discussed the case. Curtis had connections in law enforcement, and Jason knew that if anyone could find out what had happened to Jagger, it was him. "Jagger's death doesn't add up," Jason said, his voice low and intense. "He was in good health, had no enemies that we know of, and yet he's dead. We need to figure out what really happened." Curtis nodded, his face grim. "I've got some contacts out in California. I'll start asking questions, see what I can dig up. But I agree with you. Something about this doesn't feel right." As Jason and Curtis began their investigation, another figure loomed in the shadows, watching from a distance. The notorious drug lord who had caused chaos in Port Charles before being locked away had recently been released from prison. His reappearance had put everyone on edge, especially those closest to Sonny Corinthos. Though no one had any proof that Cyrus was involved in Jagger's death, the timing of his release and Jagger's sudden demise raised more than a few eyebrows. Jason couldn't shake the feeling that Cyrus was somehow connected to all of this, and if that was the case, things were about to get even more dangerous for everyone in Port Charles. Meanwhile, Carly Corinthos was doing her own investigating. She had always been fiercely protective of her family and friends, and the loss of Jagger had hit her hard. Carly wasn't one to sit idly by while tragedy unfolded, and she had begun making calls to people she knew in high places, determined to uncover the truth. "I don't care what it takes," Carly said to herself as she stared at her phone. "I'm going to find out who did this to Jagger." And then